Thank you for being here with us on the call. I want to dive in and show you a little bit about the three lead strategies that I love, that I think everyone should be working toward implementing in their real estate investment business. So, the power of warm leads versus cold leads like lists, we're going to talk about that. We're going to also talk about how AI automation can help you scale your real estate investing business. We're going to go over two free strategies that you can implement, and we're going to go over one that's paid. We're going to talk about what you should be implementing at what season in your investment journey, because not all of them are right if you're brand new. And so we're going to talk about which ones are most applicable to you in your business. You can help decide that. My name is Marla Harmon. I am the founder of REI Software, and I'm also a lead generation expert. Let's talk about why I love warm leads. I will never spend my time working cold lead list. It's not that you shouldn't. If you love your cold leads, go do your cold leads. That's the beauty of having a real estate investment business. You can tailor it to your style and your needs. Okay. So the three we're going to go over, two are free and they bring in warm leads to you. One is paid. They bring in really warm leads where people are raising their hand saying, I am wanting to work with an investor. So I'm going to talk about the different strategies and which ones I love and why. So let's talk about the organic lead generation method, right? If you may have heard of this, you may be quasi doing some of these strategies, and we're going to talk about it. You are able to implement an organic lead generation strategy for free. And I'm going to cover how you can do this to get your first deal or your next deal. Before I jump in, I am Marla Harmon. I am a tech geek and a lover of warm leads. I have a background in technology, finance, and real estate. I have a marketing degree. I also am a former government employee where I did digital marketing and I was the webmaster for the agency that I worked in. I have a passion for helping real estate investors and businesses to scale using automation and AI. I have been a coach, a lead generation provider, a software provider since 2019. And to date, I have helped well over 1,000 real estate investors to get up and running and scale their business, regardless of the season that they are in, whether it's brand new to an advanced real estate investment company, and even many coaches, and even a company that was at the top 5 of the Inc. 500 industry. So I'm not new to this. I just want to give you a little bit of history about me. My software company has won 3 industry awards in 23, 24, and 25. We are also referred frequently by real estate investment coaches in the industry. They will send their students over to our company to set up their systems and to allow them to get the success systems that they teach in their program. So we're going to talk about Facebook groups first, right? I want to talk about that, why I love Facebook groups and how you can use them to get leads. But there is a strategy. I love them because they're an excellent way to find deals. They are free. It's perfect if you are just starting out. It is difficult to scale, but there is a strategy. It's easy and it works. But the problem is that you also have to be willing to put in repeated work in this strategy, which is true with most cold strategies, but at least with this strategy, it's a warm lead. So if you're doing cold leads, you know that you've got to put in work. Right? You have to work cold leads, nurture them. You have to call them. You have to maybe knock doors, all of those kinds of things. But with this strategy, at least they are warm leads that you're putting in the work for. You can use Facebook groups to find deals and also to dispo deals. So if you once you get it under contract, you can go, and one of the things that I teach is how to dispo deals and put together your marketing brochure and different things like that. And those are some of the things that we're going to look at and do in the group. So I know when you first thought about getting into real estate investing, you probably thought a day in the life of a real estate investor was going to kind of look like this. You were going to talk to sellers, make offers, and close deals. It was going to be like, woohoo, I'm making the money. And then the reality is that a lot of times it might look like this, right? You don't necessarily have anything to do. There's no leads. Nobody's talking to you. You are not having engagement, right? There's no, maybe you're watching videos. Maybe you are trying to figure out how to set up a system or who to call, what to say to people. And so the reality for many investors is when you first start, you have no framework. You have no leads and it's quiet, it's crickets. But what we teach you is by going, if you are brand new, this lead method right here is perfect because you've got more time than you have money generally. And so going into Facebook groups, I'm going to show you exactly what you can do to find those deals. The very first thing that you're going to want to do is define your market, right? So if I'm in Little Rock and I want to buy in Little Rock, then that's going to be my target market. And I'm going to choose those surrounding areas that I might also be potentially interested in. In this example, it's Little Rock, Bryant, Benton, and perhaps some surrounding cities. I'm going to look for community groups, buy sell groups, yard sale groups, anything where people are talking back and forth in those groups. Those are the types of groups that you want to be in. And you're going to talk about, you can definitely go into some real estate groups and that kind of thing, but really you're wanting to go where people are, right? Not necessarily where everybody is attracted to real estate. You're going to want to go in these private communities, the ones that people are not necessarily posting about as many opportunities for real estate. And so, because they're there, maybe they're just trying to buy or sell or do a yard sale type of thing, or they are communicating about local activities and different things like that. But any of those types of communities are perfect. So you're going to go and search, for example, Little Rock yard sale, right? And then you're going to click down here on groups. And so once you click on this group, then it's going to show all of the groups. There's usually, even if you are in even smaller area, you can usually find a metro area community where there's a good number of members. And you can see, like, you want to look for groups that have a good number of community members. And so you can kind of see what's going on there. I mean, you wouldn't want to join a small group and concentrate your efforts on trying to communicate with 10 people. You're going to go where the numbers are, but you also may need to look at the community rules to see if they prohibit any type of posting, because you're going to be going there and you're going to be asking people whether they are interested in, or that you are looking to buy a house this month. Does anybody have a house that's not on the market? And I'll go into that more. Don't worry, we're not there yet. So the first thing that you have to do, though, is search and pick your groups. And I want you to find at least 5 groups, if not 10. And you're going to be posting in those groups 2 or 3 times a day. You can post the same thing, variants of that, morning, afternoon, and you're going to reply to them because people are going to respond over time. You're going to see which ones of these groups actually fit your needs. And I want you to create a spreadsheet. Once you join the group, look and see, do I like this group? If you like that group, you see the vibe is good. If it's spammy, you don't want to be in there, because some of those groups, the only people that are in there are the people that are spamming. And so you want to be in a group where there is actually dialogue back and forth of the group members, where they are communicating, because that's where you are going to see people engaging and they're in there and they're doing the things, right? That's the type of group where you're going to see somebody raise their hand and go, I need to sell my house. A lot of times these deals have come, they're struggling, they haven't posted it, it probably isn't on the market, but they have a need. And so you want to just post in there, does anyone have a house that they are looking to sell? I want to buy one by the end of the month. Or does anybody have a house that's not currently listed with a realtor? I need to buy by the end of the month. You can do that in one of those color backgrounds on Facebook where you can choose the color of the background. Those are perfect for this type of post. So, anyway, this is one method. I also want to show you a more advanced method. If you are a buyer and you are looking to buy and or to dispo, you are also going to want to look for Facebook groups that are geared toward real estate and wholesaling, right? So we've got the last one was to get off market sellers. But here you can also find deals that wholesalers have already brought down, they've already locked up, and you can go and, if it's a good deal, you can make your offer on the deals that are in those groups. Additionally, this is a great place for you to dispo them. So you're going to be looking for Little Rock off market, Little Rock wholesale, Little Rock real estate, those types of groups, and those are where you can go and either secure a deal that looks good for you. Occasionally, there will be a deal in there that you could potentially buy and still have some margin to, to flip it or whatever. But just kind of know that once it gets to a wholesale group, you really want to look at those numbers and make sure that there's margin in there for you. All right. So we've covered two different areas of Facebook for Facebook groups. And we've still got two more non-Facebook group related style stuff, or non-Facebook, completely different strategies ahead of us. But let's go ahead and talk about posting on your personal profile too. Yes, your friends and family talk to people and they can share your post. If you are not comfortable doing this, posting on your personal profile, maybe you have a daytime job, maybe you are just not quite confident yet in your ability. That's okay. I want to encourage you to get there, but at the same time, you don't have to. But just know your personal profile can be an energizer to this method. I have taught this exact strategy to investors who've paid upwards of $3,000 just to learn how to use this strategy to generate leads with real estate investing. Now, the con of this strategy, because I'm going to shoot it to you straight. Every one of these has benefits and a drawback. So the con of this is that you are going to have to be present on Facebook for a good portion of the day. You've got to go into these groups. You've got to reply to comments. You've got to get them into Messenger. And I want to also encourage you, with Facebook making recent changes to Messenger, the Messenger app going away, different things like that. People do not live on Facebook Messenger, or even on Facebook. And so it's important that as you are communicating with these sellers, that you, when appropriate, say, hey, would it be okay if I call you? Or would it be okay if, so we can talk about the property? Would it be okay if I text you to get some information about the property? And they may tell you no. But at the end of the day, if you ask and they say, yeah, no problem, I'll just shoot it to you here. But the goal should be to get them out of Messenger, get them out of the Facebook groups, and get them into your database so that you can communicate with them regardless of whether or not they are logged into Facebook, right? Because everybody has a phone in their pocket and everybody has text messaging, but not everyone is on Facebook 24 hours a day. And so you want to be able to really get in there and nurture. So that's the con. You have to be present. You're going to have to post every single day, multiple times a day. It is work, but it is effective. So I think it's important for everyone to understand that this is a really good strategy. But if you don't have systems in place, the reality of this strategy, or really anything with real estate investing, is when you start to get busy, your day is going to look like this. Right? We thought it was going to be like you were just and then, it goes from crickets it goes to looking like this. If you don't have systems in place, you are all over the place trying to track down the sellers and trying to send a manual message over to them. Who did I text yesterday? Today? Who do I got to call? Who do I need to email? Like all of those things. And it becomes really chaotic. And so we want to give you systems that are going to allow you to nurture these people and so that you know exactly what you need to do every day. Now, if you want more information about this strategy, go ahead and leave a 1 in the chat. I'll definitely I've got a complete training on the messaging, the follow-up sequences, like all of the things that you need to communicate on Facebook. So leave a one in the chat if you are watching this live, and I can make sure that we can get back to you. I've got a complete training on that. So let's dive into the next strategy. Okay. So let's talk about bird dogs. Bird dogs, who would have thought, right? So you've heard, I know you've heard a lot about bird dogs lately. And I want you to understand the reason that you have heard so much about bird dogs is because it has been one of the most effective strategies for real estate investors over a long period of time. So what does a bird dog do? They spot opportunities, they spot deals or potential deals. They gather a little bit of information about the property. They submit the lead to you, and then they get paid if and when the deal closes. So you may be thinking, well, why is this just, is this something new that's happening? I was able to go back and find a documented case of bird dogs dating back into the 50s. And, it's evolved obviously over time, just like everything has, from originally a handshake where, like I spot them and, I'll throw them to you and you do it. And it was a gentleman's handshake, to a structured finder's fee where they had some agreements. And now my company has actually deployed the very first AI assisted bird dog management system. And so that is something I'm going to show you here, but this is not the only thing I'm going to show you. I'm going to actually show you about a deal that I just got under contract for $1. So we got lots of things to cover still. I want you to know why this system, bird dogs, works. And it's because it is a low barrier to entry. It can be scalable if you do it right. It can also be incredibly frustrating if you don't have systems in place because you're like emailing everywhere, texting everywhere, and you're trying to remember, like, okay, where was that deal that I was emailing someone about, or they were emailing me back and forth, like any more than a few of those in a given period of time, and it can get really messy. But it also works with no budget. Even if you're relatively new, you can do a bird dog strategy. Some people will come in when they're brand new and they will bird dog for someone, and then they will transition into running their own system, as well as other aspects of lead generation, and whether it's wholesale, creative finance, etc. So we already talked about what a bird dog does. One thing I want to make sure that you understand it with bird dogs is it's your business and it's your way. You've probably seen some training about bird dogs. I love these trainings. They are so good because they go so deep. But I think it's so important that you, as a business owner, or as a bird dog, or if you are an investor who is looking to bring on bird dogs, it's important for you to understand it's your business and you build it your way. Right. And so what I mean by that is you set what you need from your bird dogs. Sometimes the bird dogs are more skilled than other times, and you get to decide if you want to work with somebody has low skill. You get to decide, do I want to, essentially almost have an acquisitionist that can do some kind of bird dog things. So it's really, you get to decide on this scale of exactly what you need your bird dog to do for you, but you create your buy box, whether it's single family, multifamily, mobile home, etc. Then you set your commissions and fees. You negotiate those with your bird dog and exactly how you are going to pay them. Is it a referral fee or is it a commission? Depending on how much you are asking them to do, that's how you determine the value of that relationship with them. You can have different levels of bird dogs. You could have some people that are on a flat fee for doing smaller activities, a smaller referral. You can even go into door knocking with your bird dogs. Our system helps facilitate that. I'll show you that here in a minute, but how you structure this is up to you, but they get paid when a deal closes. This strategy is the ultimate way to leverage other people's time. There is no better way than having somebody that is essentially working for free until they get you across the finish line, until the deal closes. There's no better way because you can scale it to infinity if you put systems in place. With our system, the way that we're doing it now, it doesn't mean you have to have our system. You can certainly go and do this without our system. It is going to be much more difficult for you to scale it. We have a system that allows you to essentially recruit bird dogs. If you are looking for bird dogs or you aren't sure how to find them, definitely let me know. I do a complete comprehensive training on this topic. I'm sure I will be teaching that probably even in our free group. And you can even do that through submissions, right? So they put in their name, email, and phone number, and you can automate those bird dogs into your system. They submit leads into you through our system that is specifically geared toward your buy box. I'll show you pictures here in just a minute. And AI is going to score the lead against your buy box. All you have to do is lock that deal up then, right? And so this strategy works for any type of real estate strategy. It doesn't matter if it's creative. It doesn't matter if it's, a cash buyer. It doesn't matter if you are the buyer. It doesn't matter if you're going to wholesale. It doesn't matter. All, bird dogs, this strategy can work in any of those situations. All right. So the beauty again of this strategy is that you are not spending as much time in Facebook groups posting to find deals. You're not doing outbound cold calling. You are not necessarily, or I guess you could do outbound cold calling if your bird dog hasn't already set that up for you. Again, your business, your way. And then you're not having to do postcards or even paid ads. I do paid ads. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. It's one of my absolute favorite strategies. I'll show you why. Not everybody's at that place in their business. And in fact, I even talked to a young lady yesterday and I told her, I said, you're not ready. You need 30 days. She's a go-getter. But I told her, I said, you need 30 to 60 days. You're just getting started. I want you to go bring down a deal. I know you're going to have that in a few weeks, because I can tell, I know what she's doing. We talked about her activities. So she's going to come back to me once she's got a deal under her belt. And then we can talk about lead generation. She needs to put in the footwork, lay the groundwork. Now, if you've got more money and you want to invest in these more expensive strategies, and use that as a learning opportunity and get that coaching and get that experience. There is no better experience than jumping in the pool, right? If you want to swim, get in the pool. There's no better way. But, if you feel like you need to take a systematic approach to it, then, these are the flow, right? Facebook post, then, get you some bird dogs and stack. I want to talk to you about stacking. I want you to think about lead strategies as I'm going to bring in one strategy. I'm going to, build my muscle, and then I'm going to stack another strategy. And you decide which one of the strategies are best suited for you and your ultimate goals. So let's go ahead and look at this bird dog platform, right? This is the app that a bird dog would get if they came on board with you, so that they are no longer in the dark about what's going on. There's nothing really worse than being a bird dog and there's no feedback. You don't know what's happening with your lead. There's no transparency. If a lead doesn't close, you may be communicating with them in another platform. They can't see what the status is, all these different things. But when you develop your own bird dog system, then you can scale this and your bird dogs can have full transparency into what's going on. So if you look over here, this is like what they see when they log in. And so remember, I told you, like, this is 100% customizable. You're going to add your buy box for every single deal type, right? So if you are looking for single family wholesale deals, well, you've got a buy box for that. If you are looking for direct to seller, there's a buy box for that, especially if you are looking for mobile home parks. Your buy box is not the exact same, right? Once you establish those buy boxes, our AI is going to qualify and score. I'll show you that here in a minute. Every single deal that gets submitted to you. So you spend your time doing the important activities and working the important leads. You're prioritizing your efforts with your bird dogs. Now, you notice you can also send text messages or messaging to the bird dog. So you're communicating inside of each one of these leads and it's connected. So they see the actual communication inside of the contact. And so everything is neat and order. Now, one thing I will say is this is more than technically a basic bird dog app. because it allows your bird dogs to go knock doors. It allows them to book appointments if you want them to. You don't have to put your calendar in. If you don't, it wouldn't be there. But they can actually book calls for you. So, say they are talking to a seller and it meets your buy box. If you have that type of relationship with this bird dog or your acquisitionist and they need to put them on your account, they can do that. These bird dogs never need access to your CRM. This is their app. So they see only the things that are relative to them. They don't see all your leads. These are their leads. It also allows them, you can give them territories if they, if say they're an employee and you want to give them territories and have them go knock a specific door. Or, maybe you just say, you know what, I want houses in the Briarwood subdivision. You give them that territory and you send them out on it and say, you know what, if you can find anybody, send them over to me. It's not an employee situation necessarily. It's a contractor situation. They can see your buy box. They can see the areas that you want and you're sending them out. They can click on any one of these and submit a deal, and it has all of the information specific to what you need in your business, not in mine. What do you need in a wholesale deal? What do you need from your direct sellers, right? If it's a direct to seller, you can give this to your real estate agents. If you are working with an agent in the area, they can come in here, they can submit a deal. You can have one here that says agents or whatever. They can go there, they can submit exactly the criteria that you need, and AI is going to look at it to see if it matches your buy box. Okay. Notice you can also add routes. So let's say, for example, if I had a list, I could even upload a list in here and have bird dogs go knock it. Just give them a free list and say, hey, if you want to work these, go have at it. It's up to you. Your business, your way. But once you assign those leads to them, they can go knock those doors. And then once they get it, they're going to come in. And this is just a condensed version. If you click on this, it actually opens it up. It's going to give you the full AI analysis. And again, you can communicate on inside of any one of these leads, or they can communicate from right here. This is a general overview of some of the screens. Now, this is your dashboard. And so inside of your dashboard and the back end on the desktop, and they can access it on desktop or on mobile, a desktop version to send you leads if you don't want them to go out and knock doors. So inside of your dashboard, when they send you a lead, you're going to see by employee or by bird dog or contractor or whatever you want to call them, a dashboard. And this is expandable. So you'll see every single one of the people that are on your team. It's going to show you contact information. I can click on this and expand it open and see all the information that they have submitted about that lead for every single one of my criteria. And then I can click to open Zillow, Maps, Satellite. I can see how much I anticipate that I think I'm going to make on this deal. You key that in. I can track how much I owe this bird dog, because the reality is I've got different arrangements with different bird dogs, right? Maybe one bird dog does more for me and I pay them more. I don't want to have to try and guess or remember, especially as I'm scaling, how much I've agreed to pay a bird dog on a deal. So you can do that in here. AI is going to score this for you. So again, you've got that score, so you can start to see the percentage of data points that are met in your buy box. And then you can see all of the different statuses and how you this lead from them. And then also, if you are using routing, they have like a map, Google Map, going to drive them around, all of that kind of stuff. And you can use that for door knocking if if you're going to do that. And so you can kind of see all of these different routes. And then the individual user, when they are out knocking on doors, they can disposition it. All of this is customizable, by the way. So that they knock the door or they need to book an appointment while they're at the property. And then what is the outcome? They attempted contact, it was a renter, etc. Right? And so they disposition it. They can upload photos, all the good things like that. All right. So I'm not going to go any deeper into bird dogs right now. If you want some additional training on bird dogs, I would love to share a training that we have done. I will probably be doing another one, but feel free to scan this QR code and you will get an in-depth training on bird dogs, right? It goes much deeper on how to be able to go and recruit them, how to be able to onboard them, how, what to do, how, like, it's the how to. Okay. And so if you want that, I'll give you like 3, 2, 1. If you didn't get it, leave a comment in the chat and we can get that over to you. All right. So now let's talk about the next strategy. The next strategy we're going to talk about is why your real estate leads aren't converting, or most real estate leads do not convert. And it's because of cold list. A lot of people talk about them and they do work. They do, but they're outdated lists so many times. They are overworked by the entire industry. They can be expensive, and when I say they're outdated, not all of them are, but some of them are. Depends on where you get them. If you're getting from the county, it's probably a little more accurate, but if you're getting them off of one of the data providers, they can definitely be outdated. And then we've got that the sellers are going to be defensive, right? Because everyone has called them. They're getting calls, they're getting texts, all of these things, and they're defensive. So you are approaching them from a defensive posture instead of somebody that has raised their hand and said, yeah, I think I'm interested in working with a real estate investor. Can I get an offer on my property? That's what I love, like warm leads. Where it's not starting with a confrontation. How did you get my information? That type of thing. So also the manual follow-up and missed opportunities that investors go through is a real thing, right? If you don't have, it's one thing to have systems, but it's another thing to have systems that work. And so it's also important to understand that speed to lead matters. When somebody is actually willing to talk to you as an investor, you should be available within less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes. And if you are not, your competition is, right? A seller who is made up their mind that they have a situation that they need to address. Many times, if you're not addressing it with them, they may be looking at someone else. So just kind of be aware of that. And then the bottom line takeaway here is that the issue is it's not the effort. It is that you're starting with cold leads and responding can be slow. And so that can be a recipe for disaster. All right. You may have seen my post on Facebook or in one of the groups or something. And I was able, just on Monday, I took this deal, put it under contract. First call, one call close, subject to the mortgage, taking over the mortgage payment for $1. Right. And so, and this is not the first time I've done one call closes. I've seen this happen multiple times for multiple people. And really, it's a combination of qualification. It's a combination of systems. It's also a combination of what to say to a seller and just making sure that you're talking to people who want to talk to you and are motivated to sell. Those are the key ingredients there. And so how do we get these motivated seller leads, right? So what we do is that I run targeted ads. My team and I run targeted ads. We work with sellers who are actually raising their hand and saying, I'd like to get an offer on my house. They already know that you're an investor and they expect you to call them or they expect you to text them. They are not wanting a sales pitch. They want an offer. They want to move. They at least want to consider moving. Many of them are needing an offer. And so that's the goal. We set up ads. We have sellers that opt into them. And then our lead system nurtures them, qualifies them, books them so that you show up on the call. So our warm leads convert because sellers are starting the conversation. We're not reaching out. I want to talk about the Facebook ad or Facebook groups versus ads. And so the difference is where you are in your business, right? If you are brand new, if you don't have a budget, then the Facebook group is where you're going to want to start because that is where you can actually find warm leads. They're warm, right? They are still raising their hand saying that, I'm looking to sell. So that is a warm lead. It's just not as scalable and repeatable, and it takes work, but it's still a good strategy. So if on the Facebook organic leads, you're going to be posting 2 to 3 times a day, 5 to 10 groups. You're going to be checking for comments. You're going to be replying to the DMs or the comments, and you need to track those. So you need to make sure that you have a follow-up system in place so that they don't fall through the cracks. You're not out there posting in these groups so that you communicate with them on the first go around. Then it's like, great. And then if not, I'll just leave it to the side. You're putting in the work. You have to follow up with them. And so the goal, again, get them off Facebook so that you can have them in a system where you can follow up with them on a repeated basis. So, and then here you're also going to be you are going to be, kind of chasing these potential sellers on Facebook, right? It works, but it's work. So you're going to keep a spreadsheet, perhaps. You're going to have post-it notes, notepad, all the things. It's going to be a little bit of, that's usually how it starts out for people. They've got a little bit of everything everywhere until they realize, okay, I need to get a system. And so I would just encourage you, if you're serious about becoming a real estate investor, get your system. All right. And then the next day you got to do it all again. Otherwise, you can go, if you're an experienced investor and you've already got a deal or two, you should be taking part of that income and allocating it so that you can grow and scale your business. And so again, Bird Dogs, it's essentially free. You've got a little time in there, a small amount for the software, but at the end of the day, Bird Dogs are going to allow you to scale. Paid ads are going to allow you to explode. So that's the difference. With paid ads, you get warm leads that just pop into your CRM, right? This is when you're ready to really build your pipeline. You're building anywhere from 30 or more leads a month that are actual sellers wanting to get offers from you. The CRM is going to automatically, when those leads come in, it automatically starts texting them and sending them emails, and it does this for a year, right? And so there's not a whole lot that you have to do, but the moment that they respond to any one of those text messages, our AI is going to qualify the lead and then book the call. And so far, you've not done anything, right? You've done nothing so far other than, have a CRM and an AI that's ready to go and ads that are running in the background. The moment that AI books your call, you show up on the call, and you get additional details about the property, you run the comps, and you make an offer. Then you close the deal. You open escrow, you go to closing, and that's the end of it. So all of that busy upfront work, once you get to a place in your business where you have a little money to invest in growing, this is where it starts to compound, right? And so you get, leads flowing in on a daily basis. So the thing is that you are building a pipeline that is growing exponentially, and AI is doing the work for you, so you don't have to. I like compounding, right? And stacking these different strategies. That's kind of my preference. With AI, you are not chasing down your leads. You are not forgetting who you need to call and text and email. It is calling and texting. The AI is there to communicate with your seller. Even if the lead comes in at 7 o'clock at night and they start messaging on Saturday or a holiday, you don't have to stop eating dinner and think, oh, I got to get back to them within 5 minutes. You don't have to worry about coordinating your calendar, trying to figure out when's a good time to call. AI just books the call. You just show up, you close it. So let's get into how our investors are using AI systems to automate their business, how I brought down that deal that I just showed you. And then we're going to look at how you can get more qualified appointments so that you can just jump on a call and make offers. So on its very surface, our system that I've set up, and by the way, I set this up back in 2018 and then completely restructured everything in 2019. The core system was developed with some of the biggest coaches in the industry that are teaching how to wholesale, how to do creative finance. If I mentioned to you who they were, you would undoubtedly know who they are. We work together to help build this system so that we have an infrastructure for you to be able to work with sellers, work with cash buyers, work with rent to own. If you want to have a rent to own strategy, when you bring down these deals and get them under contract, you can rent to own them or seller finance, whatever your terms are in the state that you're working in. Focusing on sellers where that's the primary method of acquiring deals, right? When a new lead comes into the system, it is integrated from any source. It doesn't even have to be our lead source. It can be from anywhere. Google business profiles, Facebook leads, Google leads, paper lead, websites, postcards. It doesn't matter. Bandit signs can all be automated into our system. And then our system is going to automate the follow-up. AI does all the work. We have voice, we have text messaging, web chat, like all of the things. And then it qualifies and books the appointments for you. You show up and close those deals. Our system does all the things you would expect. We've got, pipelines and contacts and all the things, mobile app and everything. So when we, I already mentioned text messages and emails, AI 24/7. We have a seller lead sheet. I'm going to show you that. I think this is one of the best and maybe even one of the best features in our system because it is literally a script to walk you through every single thing that you need to ask the seller when you're on a call with them. And it's nestled inside of our system so that you can, just go and complete all of the necessary information. And then everything is centralized so that you're not having to juggle like spreadsheets, Gmails, and cell phones and trying to figure out the different, where did I talk to them? And so let's take a look at the seller lead sheet, for example. So inside of our seller lead sheet, this is just the first part of it. Down below, we've got scripts and all the things. But it allows you to collect the information and as you fill it in, it's saving it, right? You can come back and edit it if you need to, but it's saving the information so that if you need to come back to it, it's right there. If you get off track in your phone call, it's right there. And so all of this information, it scrolls and scrolls. It's all there. Mortgage, liens, taxes, like all the questions that you would ask, HOA, all the things. You don't have to ask every single question, but it's there so that if you do need to ask it, you've got it there. AI is going to feed that information over on the questions that AI asks. It feeds it over. AI is not asking all of that, but it's there. You can ask the questions that are relevant. If you know that the house is in the country, you're going to skip the HOA, that kind of thing. If you're familiar with the area, it's a $100,000 house in the middle of nowhere, it doesn't have an HOA, you skip it. Our AI, it never sleeps. And it's your assistant that you don't have to worry about it resigning. It's there, set up for your business, and it's going to work for you forever. It qualifies your sellers, books those appointments, sends the appointment confirmations and reminders because there's nothing worse than you call and the seller doesn't pick up, right? Because why? You didn't remind them that they had a call and they forgot, and Timmy had soccer practice and they forgot about that. And so this is how you can make sure that, it's just a gentle reminder a day before and a few hours before to let them know that you've got that appointment that's coming up. And it updates the contacts and all that kind of stuff. We also have a voice AI. The voice quality has probably improved a good bit because AI is just moving at the speed of light, which I love, and it just gets better and better. So I'm going to go ahead and play for you our voice AI, but just know that this voice AI is going to be asking a few simple questions, and then the goal is to book the appointment. Now, I'm not going to run this through the entire booking part because we don't want to sit here for 3 minutes listening to it. It is actually booking the entire appointment, sending the confirmation, all of the things. And it works for creative, it works for wholesale, it works for fix and flip. It does all the things it's the way that it's designed. It doesn't matter what your strategies are. It's getting them on, gets the call booked so that you can get on the call.
I'm Bailey, an AI assistant with J Buys Houses Fast. Thanks for reaching out. Are you looking to sell a property or is there something else I can assist you with today?
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could get an offer on my house.
Perfect. I am here to ask a couple of quick questions about the property and then I'll hand it over to Kim Burnett, who prepares your offer. Is it okay to ask the questions now? Great. What's the full address of the property you'd like to sell? Please include street, city, state, and zip code.
123 Apple Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, 72124.
Thank you. Just to confirm, the address is 123 Apple Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, 72124. Is that correct?
That's it.
Thank you for confirming. Does the property need any repairs? And if so, what kind of repairs are needed?
New carpet and paint.
Got it, new carpet and paint are needed. Are there any other repairs or updates the property might need?
It probably needs to have the yard mowed
Thank you for sharing that. How soon are you hoping to sell the property?
as soon as possible.
Thank you for letting me know. Do you have an idea or a ballpark price in mind for the property?
Around 225, maybe?
Thank you for sharing that. And just to confirm, are you calling from your cell phone? If not, may I have your best contact number?
Yes, this is my cell phone.
Can I get your full name and spell it for me too, please?
Sure, it's Karen, Karen, Jones, Jones.
Thank you, Karen. I have your name as Karen Jones. What's the best email address to reach you at?
Pricing.
So you can kind of see what we were dealing with there, right? The AI is going to continue on. It's going to offer time slots based on your calendar availability. We have that synced in to the AI. It's booking those appointments, inserting it into your Google Calendar, synced into our system. And that way, AI can book those calls for you just like your best appointment setter or your best assistant, whether it's on voice or whether it's on text. This is how our system works. The speed to lead of being available when a contact calls you or being available when a text message is sent from your seller is critical. Making sure that you nurture multiple times a day brand new leads, critical, right? And that's exactly what our AI systems are doing. So I do want to share with you. I'm going to make you an offer. And if this is something that you're interested in, brilliant. If not, I'd still love you to be in our free community and you can reach out when it is the right time. But check this out. We have a Christmas special. And if you come on with one of our monthly plans between now and Christmas, it ends on Christmas, you're going to get 2 months for the price of one, right? 2 months for the price of one. This is kind of a breakdown of the way that our systems work. So we have plans starting as low as $27. So don't let this scare you. The Bird Dog, if you just want the Bird Dog system, we've got a very affordable $27 plan. There shouldn't be anything stopping you from being able to get a system up and running. If you want a full suite of software services, all of our emails, all of our text messages that we have used and that coaches around the country are providing to their students, our investors are all using these emails and text messages, all of our verified phone systems, our CRM that gets fully built out. We do not give you a CRM. And on any of these plans that are right here, I'm showing you, we do not give you a CRM and expect you to go and build it out. That's not going to happen. We build our systems for our investors so that when we're done, we turn it over to you and it's ready to go from day one. We have quality analysis. We have a department that QAs all of our builds so that we make sure that it is set up before you get your hands on it. If this is something that you are interested in, I want you to go ahead and I'm going to show you how you can get started with REI software, how you can get AI, and also if you want our annual subscription, it is 2 months for free and no setup fee. You're going to save up to $993 on our annual plans. So depending on which one you want, AI or not AI, you can see how that is structured. The main thing is if you have questions about any of these services, feel free to jump on my calendar. Here is the QR code so you can get on my calendar and we can talk about which plan is right for you. Again, that offer for 2 months for free, it is ending on December 25th. All right. You can find out more by scanning this QR code or going to reisoftware.com.